What up, guys? This is Derek Larger, and I am glad to be back on. And today I will be talking to you guys a little bit about the NBA in regards to Kawhi Leonard, Dirk Nowitzki, and Andrew Bogut and the Cavs. And I'll also be talking about the Colts today, talking about what the Colts are doing with stuff that has been going on in the offseason with Chris Ballard. So, first shout out to Dirk Nowitzki, who just tonight went ahead and scored his 30,000th career points tonight. He is only the sixth person in the entire NBA to do so, and that is definitely quite the accomplishment. And congratulations, Dirk. You've already had an outstanding career. Definitely going to become a Hall of Famer one day. Congratulations to you. And I look forward to reading about you later on in life. And he's still going. Dirk, you're still going. Thank you for everything you've been doing. And so, we'll first talk about the Andrew Bogut injury to the Cavs. As some of you may or may not know, Andrew Bogut was injured himself last night against the Miami Heat and had broken his tibia in his leg less than a minute into the game. This is heartbreaking news for the Cleveland Cavaliers, considering the fact that we were so excited to have him onto the court, and now we may not get him back the rest of this season. It's a huge burden to fill. It's very hard to imagine that this would have happened, especially so quickly. And now it's time to think about what the Cavs are going to do next. It is unclear what exactly they're going to do to help Tristan Thompson on the court, but it is clear that the Cleveland Cavaliers have a little bit more work to do when it comes to the defensive side of the ball and being able to move stuff around. I will continue to update you guys more on what the Cleveland Cavaliers do, but I don't know if the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to recover from this very easily and very quickly, because this is definitely a big blow to the Cleveland Cavaliers organization. So, last night, Kawhi Leonard finished the game against the Houston Rockets with 39 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. This was definitely one of his bigger performances. This is his 5th straight game with 30-plus points. He's definitely put on an offensive clinic this year when it comes to scoring. His offensive game has very much improved. So, the big question that was rising from today is Kawhi Leonard really worth a MVP? My answer is no, and I'm going to explain why. This is in no way to disrespect Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is one of the best two-way players and overall one of the best players in the NBA. This is no disrespect to him, but let me explain why. Most people nowadays, we have to consider the defensive side of the ball as well as the for the MVP voting, which has become critical. But you can't necessarily say that defense is all that matters. Kawhi Leonard is probably the best defender in the entire league, in my opinion. All of you guys who have heard me say that LeBron James is worthy of an MVP. I still stand by that, but this is how I think it goes down. First, James Harden, 2, Russell Westbrook, 3, LeBron James, 4, Kawhi Leonard. I just say that because the funny thing is that people will say, oh, Kawhi Leonard had a much better game than LeBron James the other night. Honestly, I don't see much of a difference. Kawhi Leonard shot the ball more times than LeBron in that game. LeBron still had 30. and Kawhi had 39. Kawhi had 6 rebounds. LeBron had 17, everyone. And 4 assists, and LeBron had 6. I debate who had the better game. I can debate that LeBron had a better game. Just this last game, Russell Westbrook scored 58 against the Trailblazers. They still lost the game, but he still scored 58. There comes a time when it's just like, this is no disrespect to Kawhi Leonard. I really like this guy. He's a great player. He would fit anywhere. He's a guy that you can put on anyone and up in any situation. He is great. But to say he's the MVP of the league, I just don't think his offensive repertoire and resume really make him stand out. You know, I mean, if you took Kawhi Leonard off that team would still win close to 50 games. And, I mean, they'd still be one of the better teams in the West because of how they're coached and the kind of talent they can bring in. I mean, and that's in no way disrespect to Kawhi Leonard. He just so happens to be with an organization that runs itself very well. So, do I think he deserves the MVP? No. Do I want to see him win an MVP at some point? Yes, because he's worth it. I would want him almost as much as I want LeBron James because he's a guy that can do anything. But congratulations on the game, Kawhi. You came in clutch. But I still don't think that means you are my MVP because you came in clutch against the Houston Rockets and scored 39. So, and we'll move on to the Colts. And the Colts have been making some moves. As in a couple days ago, the Colts released Mike Adams, who has been the safety for the Colts for the last 5 to 6 seasons. And I think this was a good move on the Colts' part. Mike Adams is getting up in the mid-30s and has shown signs of decreasing. Last year or 2 years ago was a stud, had 5 interceptions, and only played really half the year. And then this year, when he was healthy for most of the year, he only had 1 interception, and the whole secondary lacked. I think that this was a first sign that Ballard is wanting to get younger because he had Robert Mathis, we knew was gone. DeQuell Jackson was released because of him getting older and some of the problems that he had off the field. Mike Adams, because he's getting older. That's why you're getting rid of him. See, you're starting to see the trend that Chris Ballard is putting in. He wants to get younger on defense. And the Colts are actively shopping A.J. Boy, who is a cornerback for the Houston Texans. And I think this would be a great move for the Indianapolis Colts, because if they could get that extra guy to put in for Rashad Melvin and give snaps, that would be a great thing. You also have to think about Vontae. You have to think of Vontae Davis out there on the other side because he is starting to become injured a lot. So I think that you're starting to see Chris Ballard make some picks on the defensive end that make sense, especially in the secondary. Makes you think that Chris Ballard is loading the secondary and free agency and releasing guys, so maybe you could see, I think you're going to see that linebacker defensive end combos in the draft and looking for guys to throw in as safeties and corners later on. Darius Butler has been saying he wants to move to safety for the Indianapolis Colts. And I think releasing Adams gives Chris Ballard the great opportunity to put Darius Butler in that position. The position he wants to play in, and a guy we should definitely keep. And the last thing that Chris Ballard has done has re-signed Jack Doyle. Jack Doyle, who has come on strong this season. Surprisingly, the first game of the season, I was on fantasy, and just so y'all know, I did win my fantasy league this last year. I know what I'm doing. I won my championship, especially against a guy who had Tom Brady, Le'Veon Bell, T.Y. Hilton, Odell Beckham Jr., and Greg Olsen, and a good defense. He had these guys, and I still came in and I won this. So make sure I do know what I'm talking about in a lot of this fantasy football stuff. Jack Doyle was on less than 1% of people's rosters all across the globe. After that first game where he had caught 3 touchdowns from it was 2 or 3 touchdowns, I can't quite remember, but had close to 100 yards as well, had basically accumulated almost 20 points. His draft stock raised over 20%, which is crazy to think about. That last year, he was the most efficient tight end, dropping only less than 3% of passes thrown to him last season. I think this is a great pickup, especially for Andrew Luck. You have Dante Moncrief coming back. You have T.Y. Hilton. You have 2 guys solidified at your receivers. Now you have the combination of Dwayne Allen and Jack Doyle. Jack Doyle made sense because he worked with Andrew Luck in the past, and he is a great guy to go out of the backfield. Dwayne Allen is that guy, but he's a guy that can also block. So now you're solidified at the tight end and the receiving position, but you didn't have to spend a lot of money on Jack Doyle. But now you're going to start to see Chris Ballard start to make moves on defense now that the offense has been solidified. I like what I'm seeing so far from Chris Ballard. I like what he's doing, the mindset that he's got going on, and I look forward to seeing what he's got going on later on in the draft. And I will definitely be keeping you guys updated on that as time goes along. I'm Derek Larger. Until next time, guys. Peace.